Ask you the question. Ask you the question. Will Michael Myers die in Halloween Kills in a junkyard?
Why? You know what I was just thinking about? I was thinking about that opening scene. You remember that show Keen
You
Eddie?
may rely on it.
You remember Keen Eddie? At the very beginning of it, that dude's like dancing in his tidy whities.
Yeah, during the intro.
Yeah, why would they put that in the intro? It makes zero sense.
That's a good show.
All right, ATGNAT podcast for the first time, me and Blake on YouTube. But I'm Ronnie, he's Blake. We're the ATGNAT podcast.
Did they say you need to go live from your daughter's room?
Today we're going to talk top 5 characters in this new Halloween trilogy, not counting Michael and Laurie. So I think our list is going to be relatively the same, Blake. So we're going to start in no particular order. Our number 1 was going to be exactly the same, so we'll save that person. So you're number 5.
You can't pick Michael or Laurie, right?
Can't pick no Michael, no Laurie, because that would be everybody's number 1 and 2. They'd be bragging about James Courtney.
Right. And he is the star. Well, I mean, but anyway, coming in at number 5 is Big John. And I'll be honest with you, 2 through 5 is in no particular order for me. But there is a definite one. But number 5, I'm going to say Big John. I loved everything about those 2 characters, actually. But Big John in particular, he seemed to be the more dominant, more masculine of the pair. And
you gotta love the fact that when danger happens, he drops the robe.
He's ready to go.
He gets the little knife. You tell me there's not a gun anywhere in that place?
Maybe they're anti-guns. But all he wanted to do on Halloween, get high, dance, and watch movies. I mean, and snack. So I think everybody can relate. So I just think it was a great character, and I love how he handled himself when things got bad. Like he stepped up, and not a lot of people, including you and I, would do that. We would have went out that door, and we would still be running.
Yeah, the minute you said, "Hey, Ronnie, I think somebody's in our house, and it's not a kid," I would have showed you how to go out the front door.
Someone's at the back door, and there's a blood handprint on the wall. We're gone. Like we're out of here.
And I've seen enough movies to know to sprint out the front door in case somebody's waiting on the other side to grab me, like Jason or somebody. Just go. All right, my number 5 in Halloween 2018, did not like this character at all. All right, but in Halloween Kills, I think it saved him. I'm going with Cameron as my number 5. I mean, he was one of those characters from 2018. I'm like, why is this guy even in the movie except to show the reason that Allison no longer has a phone and her family can't get a hold of her? Halloween Kills opens with this guy walking around drunk, and he finds Hawkins, and he has like a redemption angle in the entire movie of Halloween Kills that makes him a likable character. And of course, any likable character in a horror movie gets a gruesome death, and he had the best death, I think, so far of these 2 movies.
Well, yeah, you're right. And one of the complaints you and I had walking out of Halloween 2018 was this Cameron character. He didn't get his comeuppance, like he was a jerk. He was garbage the whole movie. And usually that character in a horror movie gets dealt with pretty quick and nothing happened to him. So for them to not kill him right away in Halloween Kills, I thought was a pretty cool move, and for us to make us like him before they did it, it was just an interesting swerve that they did. And you're right, Cameron is one of the better characters. Is he on my list?
No, he's not on your list.
He didn't make my list. Okay, well, I would say he's 5B.
5B. I still think I don't understand why you went with Little John. Just didn't put Little and Big John. It's like one person.
No, well, I mean they are soulmates, but I like Big John better than I like Little. I've said earlier, I think on a podcast you and I did 4 years ago, that Little John, I didn't like how he dealt with Michael there at the end, where he's like, he just kind of punked out. The guy killed his lover, and he didn't do nothing. Big John wouldn't have went out like that. Michael had to sneak up behind Big John and get him in the armpit. That's the only way he got Big John. Big John was ready.
Big John was snuck up behind Michael while he's looking out that window and just threw him out the window.
He'd have choked him out.
Like Ogre did the Nerds.
He would have choked him out.
All right, you're number 4.
So I think you're in this. A lot of people don't like the Tommy Doyle character from Halloween Kills. And that is probably one of the worst parts of that movie is the mob scene, the hospital scene. But let me try to spin it for you as far as the character goes. This group of people grew up traumatized. It's hard to get over something like that, and it has ruined their life. We talk about how it ruined Lori's life. Well, it ruined Tommy and Lindsay's life too. Like you can tell, it's not mentioned, but you can tell they've had failed relationships their whole life. I mean, they're meeting at a bar every year. It doesn't look like they have family. And for Tommy, and that opening scene in Halloween Kills, not opening scene, but when he's at the bar and he tells that story right before they cut to Lori in the back of the truck screaming, that I love that. I think that is an incredible scene. And I love what I mentioned about Big John. I love that Tommy, as soon as stuff starts getting bad, he steps up and he's like, I'm going right after this guy. He's a little scared. Like as he's approaching the car, he's a little scared, but he's still doing it. He's still going after it. And just the sadness of the character. We talk about the sadness of Hawkins and Lori. The sadness of this character is it's like he's been waiting for this his whole life to get opportunity to prove that he's not a little boy anymore. He could fight back. And he's seeing what Michael is doing to this mob, and he's kind of just frozen. And he's been scared of this figure his whole life. And the last thing he sees, and what I think is the coolest scene of the movie, is Michael Myers staring at him with those black eyes, the soulless eyes, with his blood on Michael's mask. And that's the last thing he sees before he dies and goes to hell.
See, I didn't think there was any. I think you did a much better job just then of like explaining the character of Tommy Doyle. And I
just think it's a sad character. I really do. I think it's a sad character, and I don't know why I can relate to that, but I just, his whole life has been about that moment, and when that moment came, he failed, and the last thing he sees is what he's been scared of his entire life.
Okay, so I want to make this clear right now. I just saw the way I looked in the camera. I am not one of those weirdos that has the light set up. I was using like the natural light from my window, and you took so long. Now it looks like I got a spotlight on me, so hold on one second. So I thought the Tommy character was, like you said, very sad. I mean, you've talked about this on our podcast. I thought he was a loser. And I think for the 5 seconds that he was involved with Michael Myers in 1978, that's probably just an excuse for why his life turned out the way it did. You see that car he was driving? Awful. So he don't have any money. And he spent
Ronnie, you say the 5 seconds, but I mean, he was an 8 and 9-year-old boy, and he was being babysat, and a killer came into his house and chased him out of his house. And he runs across the street screaming where there's dead bodies across the street. Now, I don't think he went in that house and found those dead bodies, but what I'm saying is he's out in the street by himself with another scared little girl. Loomis is out there. Now police are showing. Now we know that police show up. I just think it's a sad, sad character. And he thought that this was his moment to try to fix everything, and it didn't go the way he thought it would.
All right. Well, my number 4 is another character that people didn't like in Halloween 2018, but by the end of Halloween Kills, I think the majority of them really liked her, and that's Karen. A lot of complaints in 2018, I guess, because she was mean to Lori the entire movie, trying to talk sense to this crazy person.
A fun fact about Ray, he actually gives Rusty Griswold his driver's license in Vegas Vacation.
All right, number 3.
So, yeah, you mentioned that 2018 is Lori / Michael's movie, and Halloween Kills is Karen's movie. My third character is going to be Allison. I think that Halloween Ends is going to be her movie. And I think she's fantastic in 2018. I think she's a typical teenager. I think she plays the part better than Laurie did in 78. But I do not like Allison in Halloween Kills. I hate that she
Her
just
dialogue.
she flips like that, and all of a sudden we have to go after him. He has tormented our family, our town, our whole life, and now we will stop him. And now all of a sudden I know how to load every single gun that's in the back of Lonnie's truck. It's just I didn't like that. Like, still make her the scared, traumatized teenager. Oh my God, I just lost my dad. My grandmother's in the hospital. This is all happening within my boyfriend's best friend is dead. I saw him dead on the fence. All this just happened within 2 hours of each other. I'm not going Rambo now. Like, I'm still scared. I'm still confused of what's going on. I saw a crazy doctor, kill a cop tonight because I don't think at this point she knows Hawkins is alive. So I really didn't like that. And I know that's probably confusing why I got her on my list, but I think she did such a good job in 2018. And I have high hopes of Halloween Ends. I think that she's going to end up being one of the better characters in all of the Halloween franchise.
She's my number 3 too. I put Allison number 3. Going back and watching, because I don't buy DVDs anymore, going back and watching the deleted scenes.
you buy VHS tapes.
Anybody wants to buy a VHS
Turn the
tape?
camera around. Turn the camera around and show them.
No, I'm not doing that. All right, Blake, you're number 2 on top characters from this trilogy so far.
My number 2, you go ahead. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Lonnie. And I know I said some stuff about Tommy, about him being a loser, and I really didn't like the character. Well, I think Lonnie's just as big of a loser as Tommy is, but there's something very likable about the character. I don't know if as they finally gave us some backstory on Lonnie with the flashback to 78, where you see he gets picked on late at night. Maybe that's
because he just seems like a very laid back guy. Tommy kind of seems intense, and Lonnie just seems very laid back. And the relationship he has with Cameron, his son, is really cool. It's more of a friend relationship than it is a father-son thing. You can tell that, which is probably the reason Cameron acts the way he does. But Lonnie is just such a laid-back guy, and I think that's why he's such a likable character. And at the end, he's trying to protect his son and his son's girlfriend, Allison, and he goes into the Myers house himself. So, he does have a backbone. He does look out for, he's not a coward is what I'm trying to say. So he's just a very laid back, likable guy.
It doesn't seem like he's let the last 40 years affect him as much as these other ones have. Like you mentioned that Tommy is consumed with the fact that he was there on Halloween night when Laurie got attacked, and it's almost part of his identity. But it seems like Lonnie is good for just showing up and drinking on October the 31st and hanging out, and then the rest of the year he doesn't seem too scarred by it. So yeah. I just thought it was a laid back character. I thought the death was not befitting the character. I think he was the Hawkins of
not a fan of the off screen kill.
For Lonnie. Maybe it's best that he did have let me flip-flop on it. Maybe it's best that he did have an off-screen kill, because maybe it would have been too much to see that guy that over the course of the movie, you're like, okay, I like this guy, get Big John and his head torn apart. So maybe it's best that he did get an off-screen, but it just seems not befitting the character that they find him hanging from the ceiling. So
yeah, Michael put him up in the attic.
And didn't shut it all the way. Why even put him up there? I guess decoration now that he's an artist in his new trilogy. All right, which takes us to our number 1, and we both got the same one. Our number 1 top character for this new trilogy so far, and I don't think many people out there are going to disagree with us. It's Officer Hawkins, and I'll start. I came away from Halloween 2018 thinking the movie had a ton of problems. But one of the problems I didn't think it had was Officer Hawkins. I think he was the best character in that movie, the most watchable character in that movie. And the movie sort of did a nosedive when Sartain pulled the double cross on him and killed him, and then ran over his legs as they were leaving. So to see them retcon that and bring him back at the beginning of Halloween Kills, whether it was planned or not, I really enjoyed that. I thought he was good in every scene he had in Halloween Kills. And I think by opening the movie, by opening Halloween Kills with his backstory, which was the flashback, and seeing that he has just as much trauma from all this as Laurie does, maybe even more, that it actually, to me, has turned into a Hawkins / Laurie / Allison story now, because I think they've all suffered greatly at the hands of Michael Myers or because of Michael Myers.
Yeah, Hawkins was a big reason that I liked 2018. You know, the problem you and I had leaving the theater was we thought Hawkins should have been the sheriff of of Haddonfield, and when you get to Halloween Kills and you get that backstory of when he was a rookie during the '78 movie, it just makes you like the character so much more. And you know, the internet's divided right now. Like, they want Hawkins to be the one. Half wants Hawkins to be the one that ends this. The other half obviously wants Laurie or Allison. But you know, I flip-flopped with Allison. I liked her in 2018. I didn't like her in Kills. With Hawkins, I liked him in 2018. I love the fact that when he got the opportunity, he was about to kill Michael, and then you find out why in Halloween Kills. I'm really curious to see what they do with him in this final chapter with the time jump. You know, there's rumors that him and Laurie are together. I mean, what is he going to be doing? He's got to be retired, right? After all that damage. Like, he's not still on the force, is he? What do you think?
He's got bills. Who knows? I think putting them two together, can you imagine what a horrible life he would have marrying that wacko?
I also think that's cheap, if that makes sense to you. Like, that's lazy. That's lazy writing to put them together for this last movie.
Well, everybody seems to think that she's going to flip the script and be like a completely normal person in this movie, maybe even faking to be a normal person. And I've said in other videos that
what sense would that make, though, faking to be normal?
I guess for Allison, because Allison's going to go, everybody's assuming she's going to go full Marilyn Manson because of one photo that was posted of them smiling and her having black fingernails in a photo from the set. So
once you get black fingernails, there's no going back.
Edit.
What?
First video out of the way. I always say the first video is the worst.
Yeah, wait till next week. No, this was fun, though. This was fun.
If you made it this far, hit us up with a like, hit us up with a comment. If you disagree, put it down there, and we'll talk about it, and we'll see you guys next time. See you, Blake.